Fine. Good morning, everyone. This is Ashutosh. Thanks for joining to the Hindi University. As you know that we meet every Sunday at 10 a.m. US Eastern to practice and learn about Hindi language. You can also go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University, to kind of go over all the previous lectures that we have, developed. Every week we come up with a new topic and we practice on that particular topic. For this particular class, the topic for our Hindi conversation is Rio Olympics. So I'm sure most of you are excited about the upcoming Olympics that are taking place in Brazil. So as I said, we'll jump right to the topic. The lecture is available right now on YouTube streaming as well as on Facebook Live. So, throughout the class, we'll start with very simple sentences. I'm gonna, walk through some grammatical topics, some vocabulary as well. I'm gonna also post some quizzes, and feel free to kind of answer some of the quizzes. Attempt it, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong in just trying it, right? I mean, you can make mistake. That's completely fine, right? So with that in mind, just give me one more minute, and then, we'll jump right to the topic. So as I said, the class is available. It's getting streamed on Facebook as well, Facebook Live as well. So do take advantage of it and post as many comments there as possible. And if you can just do that, so it will give me just one indication that you are able to see it from Facebook as well. Okay. So the first thing, whenever you're talking about like any kind of sports or any event, right? I mean, you would like to know where is that event, right? The first question probably anyone will ask you if they're not following the game would be, where are the Olympics? I'm keeping it simple. There are many ways to say the same thing in English, but where are the Olympics taking place? So as simple as that. We'll start with something, a very simple sentence. And I'm trying to keep it simple so that way you can really see the parallels between Hindi and English. So as you can see, the sentence is written in present continuous, right? So any sentence that you make in Hindi will be in present continuous as well, right? So take this opportunity for folks who are already at the intermediate level to translate this sentence into Hindi. So you can see that we are directly starting the class with a quiz, right? And I'm gonna help you out. As you know, where is kahan in Hindi? Place is jagah, right? In this case, the verb will be hona, and that's how you write it in Devanagari. Okay, so I'm going to give you some time. You can kind of break the sentence into different pieces, and then try to translate the sentence into Hindi. Okay, and if you are new and having problem, that's completely fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to help you out. Another thing for folks who are joining for the first time, you can tell that there's a different structural difference between Hindi and English, right? In English would be SVO. You have subject, verb, and object, whereas Hindi is like subject, object, and verb, right? So attempt it, and let's see what you guys come up with. And let's see, I have some answers. Okay. Okay. So some of you attempted it. I'm gonna rewrite it again. So first thing is like the subject here. So that's like Olympics, right? So that's where your subject will come Olympics, and then you have your interrogative kahan ho rahe hain, question mark, right? So for folks who are relatively new, you can tell that what we did is like we took the verb hona, and in present continuous, what we do is like we replace the noun with ho, raha, or rahi, or rahe, right? If you're talking about masculine singular, that's raha. And you can say that, or if you just want to write Olympic, you will be saying Olympic game, Olympic kahan ho raha hai. That's completely fine. But we are referring to it as a plural. That's why it's Olympic games kahan ho rahe hain, right? Music concert kahan ho raha hai, right? Um, Racing or marathon. If you're talking about marathon, that's is considered in Hindi feminine singular, right? You will say marathon kahan ho rahi hai. Similarly, for swimming, you will say swimming kahan ho rahi hai, right? So that's like the way to think about it. That you'll create many variations of it, right? Um, Similarly, like if you want to write the marathon, like दौड़ने की प्रतियोगिता कहाँ हो रही है. Um, okay, so I hope this makes sense. Let me see if you have any questions, just to make sure that I kind of cover your questions as well. Okay, good. Right. Now let's see if we want to make this sentence a little bit more elaborate. You want to put some variety in this sentence. How do you do that, right? One way to do that is like this time. Where are the Olympics taking place? Taking place where are the Olympics taking place this time? How do you kind of write this time in Hindi? That's essentially is the question. Try it, and then I'm going to give you the clue. How do you say that, or how do you fit it into the current sentence? Okay, आज साल, very good. इस बार, that's another one. Let's see if something we have on the Facebook. Okay, so as you know, this is yeh, right? Yeh. When you say this time, essentially this will convert into the oblique case. Yeh will become is, and because we are talking about an occurrence, it will be is bar. Because there is even though you don't see it, but there is a car. Is bar car, like Olympics of this time. So there is, even though you don't see it, but there's a hidden off, right? Just give me 1 minute so I can mute everyone. Okay, right. So your base sentence was Olympics games kahan ho rahe hain. Now we want to put this time. So as I mentioned, this time would be is bar or is bar ka. Okay. So your entire sentence will be is bar. Either you can put ka, or you can it's there basically. Is bar Olympics kahan ho rahe hain. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. Now we started with very simple. We had a very simple sentence, and now we converted into a little bit more advanced sentence. Okay, So now another thing which I wanted to, and you will soon realize that the theme of this class is also kind of like, to kind of put emphasis on these kind of structures in a sentence. This time, or this year, last year, or earlier year, or next year, or next time. So in general, we always write sentence in a plain manner. In this particular class, you will learn some variety on how to kind of like, add these kind of structures into the sentence. Okay, so the same sentence that we have, because based on what you're using, last time or next year, your tense will be changed as well, right? If you're talking about the Olympics from last time, you'll be talking about something that has already taken place, like something in the past. So your verb it will change accordingly. Similarly, for the future one, it will change accordingly, right? So you'll see that it kind of jog your memory for all the other tenses as well. Okay, so first, let's answer this one, and then you know, we'll jump to the next part. So let's say if somebody is asking you this question, इस बार Olympics कहाँ हो रहे हैं? Okay, now answer, give the response in Hindi. And let's say you want to say Brazil, but your task is to write the entire sentence. Okay, so your task is to write down the entire sentence. That this time Olympics are taking place in Brazil. Okay, there's one thing is missing, in Brazil. So when you say in Brazil, you are using in English there's a preposition, in Hindi there will be a postposition. Very good, right? So you got it, right? The way you will say it in Hindi is इस बार Olympics ब्राजील में हो रहे हैं. So you see, only thing we did is we just put Brazil में in this sentence, right? When you say Brazil में, it means in Brazil. For folks who are relatively new or beginner, don't panic. You can simply say Brazil में. If somebody is asking you where are the Olympics taking place this time, even if they're asking you a question in English, and if you want to practice a little bit of Hindi, you can say Brazil में, right? Or somebody asking you the question like, where did the Olympic, where were they held last year, last time? You can change the name of the city, and if they're talking about summer Olympics, you can say London में, in London, right? So I hope this is clear. We will jump to the next, the next set of sentences. So this was the first one. We'll jump to the next one. Okay, so the next one I have is like, where were the, so this one will be a little bit trickier one, right? So follow me, and then you'll be able to kind of like, understand this one. Where were the last Olympics held, right? So now this is a bit trickier one. Where were the last, and for the sake of this class, it's completely summer Olympics we're talking about. We're in summer right now. So where were the last Olympics held? uh, this will be as is like kaha. You still be using the verb hona, you know, but because it's a past tense, you know, and that's also used in a passive voice, you know, you will be using hua, right? And then similarly, like, you know, similar to ho raha, ho rahi, and ho rahe. Just give me 1 minute. He writes your name. He's writing your name. I need rings. I need rings. I need rings. And my rings. So similar to last time, when you're talking about present continuous, it was ho raha, ho rahi, and ho rahe. This time it will be hua, hui, and hue, right? So, give me just 1 minute. Right. So, so in the past, you know, tense, if it is used in the passive voice, you have three options: hua, hui, and hue. Right. Similar thing if you're talking about masculine singular, it's hua. For feminine singular or plural, it's hui. For masculine plural, it's hue. Right? So we are sure that we'll be using hue here because like Olympics games, we are referring to them as plural. Okay. So, पिछली Olympics कहाँ? Okay. So there's small correction here. You are using ho, and then you're also using hue. Right? Essentially, we have to just use one form of hona. Try it one more time, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But just to kind of give a hint, this will remain as is kaha. Where is kaha? Last Olympics, right? Whenever you're talking about something last, it will be pichla, pichla, right? Pichla, last game, pichla game, right? Last swimming competition, pichli, because it's feminine, pichli pratiyogita, right? So pichla again, for masculine, pichli is anything that you're referring to, feminine, pichli. Okay. So I hope this is clear. For last Olympics, it's pichla Olympics. Okay. For last, there's one you probably have heard of, like there is a very famous game, right? I mean, or show. I don't follow it too much, but people talk a lot about it. It starts with last, right? You guys probably know more than me, but anyway, last class. Let's say if I'm talking about last class, you can say pichli class. Okay. The intent is just to kind of get you the practice of how do you say anything that starts with last, right? Or pichli train, or pichla plane, like if you're taking aeroplane, right? So in this case, it will be pichla Olympics, pichla Olympic, पिछले Olympics, because we're talking about plural. It will be पिछले Olympics कहाँ, and then it will be हुए. पिछले ओलंपिक्स कहाँ हुए? So I hope this is clear. Let me know if there are any questions. And if you're simply saying, if you're referring to Olympic as singular, then your sentence, other sentence is also correct. Pishla Olympic. Either you can say Pishla Olympic kahan, and then you say hua. Right? Everything has to match uh, your noun, any adjective you're using with it, and your verb conjugation. They have to be in sync. Okay. So let me see if there are any questions on the Facebook as well. Very good. By the way, Facebook has a very cool feature, right, where you can like, and it's pretty interesting when you're watching the video. Actually, that they keep popping. Anyway, right. So you can see, right? I mean, the same sentence that we had in present, we were able to translate into the past scenario as well. There were the last Olympics held. Now, let's say you have to answer this question as well, like the way you did Brazil for this Olympic. Let's say if somebody is asking you this question, like where were the last Olympics held, and you have to answer it. And for those probably who do not recall, the Summer Olympics were in London. Now, use London in the response and write down the entire Hindi sentence. Try it. If you are a beginner, you can simply say in London in Hindi. If you're intermediate and advanced, you can write down the entire sentence that the last Olympics were held in London. Okay. Very good, right? So as you guys, correctly mentioned, you will say Pichle Olympics, London में हुए. So you see, most of the structure remain the same. Only thing that happened is like you put the London में in your sentence. Some people wrote the change the order. That's also fine. London में पिछले Olympics हुए. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. So you learned so far to use this time, last time. Now you'll also learn how to say next time. Okay. So that's the next sentence. And accordingly you will learn to use hona in different ways, right? The verb is, so far as you probably noticed, the verb still remains the same, hona, and hona is nothing, it's a to be form of the verb to be in English. Hona, like something is happening or to happen. Okay. The next one is where will be. Okay, where will be the next Olympics held? Okay. Let's see if you can kind of translate this into Hindi. Okay. The next, actually, there will be the next. So one thing that you have to learn is how to say next Olympics. Okay. This you've learned already. Okay. The third one is the verb. Okay, and verb is still hona, but now the verb will be used in the future indefinite form. Right? Ho will remain as it is. For singular, hoyega. For feminine, ho yegi. Okay, for plural, ho yenge. Okay, so that's enough hint. Let's see. Okay, kaha ho gaye? Okay, let's see. Very good. I hope most of the people are following it. Let's see if you can think of it. Where will be the next Olympics held? Again, try it. There's nothing, no negative marks here, right? All you have to do is like think of the verb that that you will be using. And as you can tell that, we're using the masculine plural form, right? Next Olympics it would be. So let's start with the first one. Okay, maybe that will help. Let's break it down and let's just focus on the next Olympics. The way you will say next Olympic would be either you can say ugly Olympics because it's plural, ugly Olympics. If you're simply talking about, and the word is agla here, and the way you write is a, g, and then la with a. Agla is the base one, uh, but agla is used if you have a singular, agla Olympic. Okay, agla. If you're talking about, you know, ugly race, right? Ugly race. So I'm just going to use as it is like the running competition. Because this is feminine, you will be using ugly race, right? So agla Olympic, you say agla for masculine singular, for feminine singular is ugly, okay? And the plural would be ugly, masculine plural, and that's how you write it in Devanagari, ugly. Now same thing. Olympic is masculine singular, but Olympics is plural. For that, you will be saying ugly Olympics, right? So if I were to kind of, let me erase it. Let me quiz you on a simple thing now first. And I'm going to give you next movie. Okay. Next train. Next time. Your task is to, even before we jump to the bigger sentence, try to translate these three into Hindi. And then we'll come back to the, and you'll see that, even if you are familiar with it, it will kind of like help you. The first one, okay, I'm getting some answers now. Okay, so you see, there's always like a struggle, to find out the uh, the gender of these all the objects, right? Movie is considered feminine in in Hindi. So next movie would be ugly movie or ugly picture. Okay. If you're talking about next show, show is masculine, so you can say agla show. Now let's talk about next train. Okay, even train is considered feminine, so you'll be saying ugly train. Okay, bus is feminine, ugly bus. Okay, plane is masculine, so agla plane. Next time, right? Similar to what we did, it will be ugly. This is also feminine, so ugly bar. So I hope this kind of, let me see. You said ugly movie, ugly train. Train is feminine, right? So that's why it's ugly train. So it gives me some more confidence though that you guys are attempting how to use agla or ugly or ugly. Right? Come back to the original sentence. Where will be the next Olympics held? So you will say agle Olympics. We know about where already, so it will be kaha. And now we are left with which form of ho we'll be using. So we know ho will be used in the future indefinite form, but because your subject is plural, right? Either you can say hoega or hoga, both are same. Hoga. Either you can say that, but if your subject is masculine singular, you can say hoyegi or hogi if your subject is feminine singular. If your subject is masculine plural, as I mentioned, it would be ho yenge, right? So because it's masculine plural, you will be saying ugly Olympics kaha ho yenge. So I hope this kind of I simplify it for you. Let me know if there are any questions in this one in this scenario. Very good, right? Ugly. So the side I just wrote another sentence like when will the next train arrive? Why don't we just use it as a practice? When will the next train? So you'll not be using ona here. When will be the when will the next train? Okay, maybe I'm not going to use the be. When will the next train arrive? Okay. Okay. Arrive is, or you can say come. Right? I mean, when will the next train come? Ana. Right. So you can say if you were to use ana in future, it would be aega for masculine singular, aegi for feminine singular, ayenge for masculine plural. Very good, right? So because train is feminine singular, you will be using this form of the word. Now I'm going to see if you guys can rewrite this sentence in Hindi. Awesome, right? So most of you wrote it correctly. Your sentence would be ugly train कब आएगी. Okay, when will the next train arrive? Okay, so I hope this is helping you guys. Let me know if there are any questions. Um, so that was the third form. Now we can do some repetition. We can do some more quizzes. Uh, the whole point is like how can we kind of like talk about Olympics or any kind of sporting event in Hindi with the help of these simple sentences that we are learning, right? Uh, okay, so I'm gonna give you this time. I'm gonna change the quiz and I'm gonna write something in Romanagri, and then your task is to convert that into your native language, right? So you'll probably see an English keyword and it'll be very easy for you. इस बार ओलंपिक्स का mascot Okay, so this is the sentence. It's in Romanagari. Okay, your task is to really read it and see what we like, what is really written here. Translate it into your native language, English or any other language. Usually I write it in English and then ask you to translate it in Hindi, but this time it's the other way around. You read it and you tell me whether it makes sense to you. Okay. Okay, awesome. Right. Feel free to write it in other languages as well. I mean, that makes our class very exciting, that we have variety of other languages. And I also learned something new. Okay. So essentially, you can tell that it's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, is bar, when you read it, it's, either you can say this time, or you can say this Olympics. This Olympics mascot is Vinicius. I know it's the name of like a very influential personality. I didn't get a chance to kind of read further on it, but I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with it, right? So it was straightforward, right? I mean that uh, this time the Olympics mascot is Vinicius. Okay. Now now you, I'm going to make it a little bit more challenging now. The same thing you want to say in the, so I'm going to give you a hint, okay? And you have to write down the sentence in Hindi this time. Write down the sentence in Hindi about, last times, or, mascot of the Olympics last time. So it was Winlock and Mendeville. Okay, so last time the mascot of Olympics was this one, two figures. Right? Now your task is to write the sentence in Hindi. So you know the answer if somebody is asking you the question that what was the mascot of Olympics last time. This is the answer, but you have to write it in Hindi. Okay. Remember, you have to use last time in your sentence. Try it. We just finished last time how to say last time in Hindi. Okay, so I think the question is not clear. Essentially, what you're writing is like, last time's mascot. Um, Essentially, what you're writing in Hindi is last Olympics mascot was these two things, Wenlock and Mendeville. I hope this is clear now. Try it now. Okay, very good. So this time you'll not be using, I guess it should be were. You can just refer it as WN and that's completely fine. Okay. So the thing is like there is no verb here. That was the trick question, right? So you will say पिछली बार. You can say ka, that's fine. Or k because there are two. पिछली बार के. Usually mascot is only one, right? पिछली बार के mascot or Olympics mascot W and M थे. Okay, थे. And the way you write it, the is like, you just write the with a, the. पिछली बार के mascot W and M थे. There is no verb here, just to be precisely clear. That's why, हुए is, you'll not be using हुए. You'll be saying थे. Okay. हुए is, to be very clear, like when you're writing, it's the same difference between active voice and passive voice. Passive voice is when something is happening to the subject, right? Where were you born? Like आप कहाँ पैदा हुए? Like to born is पैदा होना, right? In this case, you don't really see a verb at all, right? So you will simply say पिछली बार के mascot W and M थे, right? So we'll give you some more exercise on the passive voice, like the way we did for hua, hue, and hui. Okay, but I hope this one is clear. Um, so let's do some more exercises to kind of get more practice on these sentences. So this one is last time US won maximum number of medals. Okay, in the last Olympics or in last Olympic, US won maximum number of medals. Your task is to now translate that into Hindi. Try it. Okay. So the question is, we'll come back to it, like why we use the instead of hue. We'll discuss that. But for the time being, let's come back to these questions. Last time US won the maximum number of medals. Again, it's a past indefinite. This is again a little bit challenging. So beginners, it will be here to need some help. It's a past indefinite, and then uh, who won, right? It's a transitive verb. To win is jeetna, right? Jeetna is used it's a transitive verb. So in the past tense, you have to use verb called a postposition called ne with the pronoun here, right? Um, so pronoun here is US. So start with simple. US won, right? Maximum number of medals. Start with that, and then last time we can put it later on. Let's see if there are any questions. Okay. So this was I'm realizing this sentence is a bit trickier one. अगली बार US बहुत से. Okay. So this is, we are talking about last time. So it should be पिछली बार. Okay. Just to be very clear. This will be पिछली बार. Okay. US won. So it'll be to win is, let me simplify it again, okay, don't worry. To win is jeetna. Okay. When you're saying US won, US name जीते. You see the word changed here, right? US ने जीते. Either you can say जीता for masculine singular, जीती for feminine singular, and जीते for masculine plural. US ने जीते. So if you remember, there are two types of past tenses, right? Past indefinite. In some of them we used, name. Some of them we do not use name. Any word which is transitive word, right? Whenever you're writing them in past tense, if you remember, we use the postpositions ne. US ne jeete. It means US won. Um, Now you can finish the rest of the sentence, right? US ne medals jeete. So if you want to write it very simple incremental sentence, you'll say US ne jeete. That means US won. US ने medals जीते. That's the next level of sentence. That US won medals. Can I just say basically, right? The third sentence would be US ने सबसे ज़्यादा, and सबसे ज़्यादा is maximum number of, सबसे ज़्यादा medals जीते. Thus US won the maximum number of medals. Okay. Now in the next sentence you can put last time also, which would be, so you just put here पिछली बार. पिछली बार. पिछली बार US ने सबसे ज़्यादा medals जीते. So start with very simple, a simple sentence like this, then keep on incrementing on top of it. Second would be, and then this is the third, and then this is the fourth one. पिछली बार US ने सबसे ज़्यादा medals जीते. Let me see if you have any questions. So, Chrissy, it is correct. If you want to use, हुए in this way, that's fine too. That's correct. Let me see other sentences. Don't worry about it. It was a good try. Agli baar is for next time, right? You can, however, write a sentence for this time, like, who do you think will win maximum number of medals this time? And you can say is bar, you can say US or China or, any other country, सबसे ज़्यादा medals, and then future tense, जीतेगा, right? Let me see if there are any questions. So I hope this is clear though, right? I mean, past indefinite in general is like a challenging thing, especially if you have to use the postposition called ne. But I'm trying to cover it more and more in pretty much every class, if you remember it, right? I mean, so that way, you get to practice it more. So don't get intimidated if you see ne, and if you all of a sudden really see the word conjugation which doesn't make sense to you, it will come with practice, right? To win is jeetna, and whenever you're using name, you will see something getting changed here. Jeetna becomes jeete. Okay. Okay. So let's change. I still owe you the answer of the versus hue. We'll do that. Okay. So don't think that we're not gonna cover it. We'll cover it. So I'm gonna go a little bit easier now. And the sentence would be this year or this time I'm supporting you can put the name of any country here, or another way to say that is I'm supporting the name of the country that you're supporting this time. Okay. Another way would be that, either translate this sentence in Hindi. That's your quiz. For folks who are advanced, your task is to read this question in Hindi. Okay. Okay. For folks who are beginners or relatively intermediate, you read this. For folks who are advanced, you also read this question in Hindi. इस बार आप किसको support कर रहे हैं, right? And now write down the answer. The answer would be same for both of them, but it's just like for folks who are advanced, they get to read the question also in Hindi. Okay. So look at the verb, it should be simple. You can see in the second sentence, I'm using some verb here. You can use the verb as it is. In fact, the answer can really come from a lot of the, words used in the sentence itself. Okay. So one thing is missing though. You can see the interrogative is used with one post position. So when you're writing the answer, there has to be a post position. Right? So for example, if I were to give answers in just one word, right? I can say US को or UK को, China को, because that's how the question is being asked to you. इस बार आप किसको support कर रहे हैं? Right? So the interrogative is, किसको. You see there is a post position itself in it. Good, right? So you figured it out. So any country that you write, you can, for beginners, you can simply say the name of the country and then go, right? Or the full sentence would be is bar, and then you say your pronoun मैं, let's say China को. I'm just using it as an example, okay? Support कर, and then because it's मैं, you will say रहा हूँ, right? You will say कर रहा हूँ. And I just use an example. I would write India, but we don't have a good representation. We only have 110 people, right? And the likelihood of the medals will win is very, like, I don't know how many medals will win, right? I mean, so even though I'm supporting it, इस बार मैं इंडिया को support कर रहा हूँ. By the way, apart from this thing, do you know how many athletes are participating? Any guess? It doesn't have to be in Hindi, right? Just a word, just like the number. So I heard there are about 10,000, about 10,000 participants, in which 8,500 are confirmed. And any guess how many countries are participating? Take a guess. Just write down any number. So the Wikipedia says about 207. Okay, right. So you get it, right? I mean, is bar mein, and then this is your I. इंडिया को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ और यूएस को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ और एनी कंट्री, राइट? Because we are short of time, I'm going to give the rest of the simple sentence in Hindi. Okay, and they're very simple sentence. And if you do not know them, I'm going to give you some reference as well. Okay, the sentence here is: Are you going to Brazil? This is just a homework exercise now. Are you going to Brazil? For folks who are new, if it is difficult to translate it for you, just go to youtube.com/Hindi University and search for the video present continuous, and it will help you write this sentence in Hindi. Okay. Again, the sentence you're starting the sentence with interrogative, but the lecture will help you very easily if it is difficult for you. Okay. The next sentence that I have is the next sentence is this year 207 countries are participating in Olympics this time. Okay. Again, for folks, it is difficult for you. Just go through this video, present continuous. You know, to participate, just to give you a hint, to participate is शामिल होना. Okay. Participating शामिल हो रहा, रही और रहे, because it's plural, शामिल हो रहे. Okay, so that's enough hint. So, or you can simply say participate karna. You can use English also, that's fine. The next sentence I have is Olympics. Olympics will take place or will be held from 5th August till 21st of August. So, simple sentence, you are using hoenge, right? The verb is hoenge because it's future indefinite. The key thing is like from and till, right? So for folks who, if it is difficult for you, again, I suggest you go through the video about time in the Hindi University. How do you ask time in Hindi? And in that video, I go into detail like from 5th August say, and you see that we use that with respect to time. From 5 a.m. say, till 21st August tak, or till midnight tak, right? So you say 5th August say, 21st August tak, right? But go through the video, and this will help you. So these are the three simple quizzes that I'm asking you. For folks who are watching live on YouTube stream and live on Facebook, thanks so much for participating. Next Sunday we'll meet again with a new topic. I'll just open it up for panel discussion now, but thanks so much for joining rest of the people. Have a good rest of the Sunday. Thank you so much.